Alright, so we have the nav bar and the showcase area all set. So now we're going to move on to the next section. Alright, if we look at our finished template, you can see after the showcase we have this blue area with the different icons and headings. Now this section is going to have a class of section primary, which gives it that blue background, that blue color. So we're also going to be continuing with the grid system. This is going to be a four div row, and each div is going to be 3 columns. Alright, so if we go to index and we go right directly under the section, the showcase section. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to copy this and paste, and then we're going to change a few things. We want the blue background, so we're going to give it section primary, and then we're going to change this from section showcase to content icons. Alright, because we're not actually styling the section, so that's why I'm not giving it a prefix of section, which is totally preference. You don't have to use the section. You can do this however you want. You can name your classes however you want. This is just my preference. Alright, so let's see, we want to get rid of this, and we want each div to be 3 columns wide. And we want 4 of them, so we need 2 more, so I'll just copy these. Alright, and then inside each one is going to be an H4. I'm going to wrap everything in an H4 tag. Okay, so we want our icon, so I class FA, and then the actual icon is going to be FACOGS, and we're going to create a custom class called FA white to give it the white color, and then FALG because we want to make it a little bigger, so I'm going to increase the font size. Okay, and then we're going to have our text, so easily customizable. And then I'm just going to copy this, oops, paste it. Alright, change this to HTML5 markup, and there's an actual HTML5 icon as well, so we'll use that. Change this to responsive. And I'm going to use the indent icon, and then here lightweight, I'm going to use the FA send icon. Alright, so that's good for the HTML. We can take a look at it. Okay, so we're not seeing it. We're not seeing the text because the headings are blue by default, so we want to change those. And we're not seeing the icons either. What did I do wrong here? Oh, the icons are actually blue too. That's why we're not seeing them. So let's take this FA white. Let's make that a class in our CSS file. So dot FA white, color white, and let's also make the FA large class, and then just increase font size. Alright, if you want to make these icons bigger, all you need to do is increase the font size. And then we want our content icons H4, we want that white. Alright, so let's take a look at that. Alright, so that looks good, but we need the icons to be displayed as a block. We want them on their own line, and we want them text center. I'm going to just say content icons, and then do a text align to center. All right, and the content icons I'm gonna display block. And the H4, I also want to do a padding. What do I want to do? Padding top 4 pixels. I'm sorry. Is that what I want to do? H4 top. Let's make it bigger than that. 10 pixels. Wait, that's not right. Oh, no, no, no. I don't want to do that. We want to put the padding on the I. Should be padding bottom. $15. Actually, I want to do a margin. That might be too big. Nope, that's good. Alright, so that looks good. Next thing is this section here with our animated image. Okay, so for now we're just going to add in the heading and the images. We're not going to do the animation yet. So I'm going to copy this section. Alright, and this, let's see, what are we going to do here? We're going to call this content devices. And we're going to create a class called padding bottom 40. And we don't want section primary. And I'm also going to give it a class called scroll 300, which we'll use later to do the animation. And then this is going to be 1 column, so I'm going to get rid of 3 of these 4. And we want to change this 3 to a 12. Get rid of this H4 and put in an H1. And I'm just going to grab some dummy text for now. And then what we want to do is just put those 3 images side by side in the order that they're displayed. So we'll do laptop, desktop, mobile. Alright, so that's pretty much all we need. If we save it, we can look at it, but it's not going to look too good right now. Basically, it's just the images placed side by side. Alright, the heading looks good. So next thing is the footer, and I'm actually just going to paste that in because it's pretty simple. Basically, we have a footer tag. We're giving it a class of footer main, and same thing, container row. We're having 3 4-column divs, and in each div we have an H4 and then an unordered list with links. Okay, so we have 3 columns of that. Alright, so if we could save that, reload. Doesn't look very good. We're using the grid so it's aligned properly, but we want to give it a background color. So let's go to Style CSS. And I'm going to do the footer first before we do the devices. So what did we have? We had a class of footer main. Actually, you know what? That should be an ID. Let's do an ID. When you're using Bootstrap, everything is classes no matter what, even if there's one of them. So that's why I've kind of gotten to the habit of always using classes, even though, you know, that may not be the right thing to do in a lot of developers' eyes, but it's really up to its preference, really. So footer main, let's give it a background of the blue color, 406C96. Color will be white. Okay, I'm going to give it a border top of dark gray, almost black, 8 pixels, solid. And then padding, we'll do 40 top and bottom, 0 left and right. So for the H4s, I'm just going to make that white. Alright, same thing with the links, so I'm just going to add that here. We want that to be white. And then finally the list items. I'm going to give them a list style of square. And set the line height to 2M. Okay, so there's our footer. Okay, now for the devices. We have to position these images carefully because we're going to be animating them and we want them to slide into the correct place. Alright, so let's see. We're going to go above the footer here. And we'll say content devices. I'm going to align everything to the center. Alright, now we want to do the individual images. So content devices. Actually, first of all, we'll do all of the images we want to position relative. Alright, so now we'll do image with the ID of desktop. I think it's an ID, or is it a class? Oh, we didn't even give it. We didn't even give it an ID. So let's do that. Okay, so the desktop, going to give it a margin left of -95 pixels, and just the way the image, the proportions, I'm going to have to give it a negative margin just to get it centered in the middle correctly, and then I'm going to give it a z-index of 100. I'm sorry, this should be the laptop, not the desktop. Alright. The reason I gave it a z-index is I want it to go over, I want it to overlap the desktop when it does the animation, instead of the desktop going in front of it. Alright, so next let's do the mobile. And basically, I'm just going to give that a z-index as well. Get rid of this. Alright, let me just see what that looks like. Okay, so I'm going to do the widths of each one now. So the desktop, let's try a width of 375. Alright, and the laptop, we'll do a width of 290. And then mobile, we'll do 190. Okay, so this is good for now because we want it in this position, because when we scroll down we want it to animate from this position to moving them in closer. So you want to start with them out, if that makes sense. Alright, so that actually looks good for now until we do the animation. And we will do that next.